What's up, you guys? This is Jago2 back with another video. And if you saw the title, you know what we're discussing. And I know that I'm coming off kind of late making this video, but it's mainly because throughout the week, really busy with work, school, just life in general. But you know, Fridays, Saturdays, I like to specifically spend my time making these videos. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content. But as you all know, Jalen Brunson did something that we really haven't seen done throughout NBA history. He took the highest pay cuts ever at $100+ million. And that is for this Knicks team to keep their culture and to keep their players, intact. And his plans as well that have been already stated that Mikal Bridges plans on as well taking a team-friendly deal, which is going to help out the New York Knicks in the long run as well when it comes to keeping this roster, this core intact, which is just an amazing thing. Like seeing what Brunson is doing as the best player and sacrificing to win, saying that he's gotten major influences from other athletes and other sports, the Tom Brady's of the world, the Patrick Mahomes, just wanting to win at the highest level. For him, that is just what he wants to do. And all respect to him and all respect to what he's trying to do in New York. Like, this guy has come in and he's really fully embraced being a New York Knick. And it's been a really long time since maybe Carmelo Anthony that a player actually embraced being in New York and playing for that squad. Because if you look throughout NBA history and you see what has happened with the Knicks, especially this last decade, pretty much 2 decades, it's been nothing but pretty much mediocrity. But once he's come to New York, he's really changed the whole trajectory of this team and outlook them. They're one of the championship favorites to win it all this up-and-coming NBA season. That is just crazy in itself. But really another topic that I wanted to really discuss mainly in this video was with this new CBA. As we all know, there's a lot more restrictions now for teams. They don't have all the flexibility basically due to moves that they would normally make, because there are limits now. And according from the article that I read about a few days ago discussing this new CBA, because I'm not extremely knowledgeable in it, but I have a little bit of knowledge on it. It says that the salary cap floor is $126 million. This is the minimum that teams can spend on their roster. And the ceiling is around $140+ million, which is the maximum that teams can spend without incurring a luxury tax. And when we look at the first apron, this is $178 million. If you remember during the time that LeBron, he was willing to take a massive pay cut so they can get Klay Thompson, and so that the Lakers wouldn't have to acquire past that first apron as well. But this is where teams can no longer make a variety of moves. Most notably, they can't acquire players via sign-and trade or buy out players for more than a league minimum. We look at that second apron, which is $188 million. All of the restrictions of the first apron still apply, but in addition, teams can no longer sign free agents from outside of their organization. You can't send out multiple salaries for one player in a trade, and they can't send cash considerations in trades as well. And if you haven't already seen, this has affected many teams already in this free agency. We already saw that Paul George had to leave the LA Clippers due to this new CBA. We saw that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, one of the key pieces on that Denver Nuggets team, had to leave. And honestly, hate to say, but I kind of blame on that on Michael Porter Jr. because if you remember, the Nuggets gave him that max rookie extension, gave him, I believe, $200+ million, hoping that he would become the player that they thought he would, that second option that can help this Denver Nuggets team win more NBA championships. But sadly, if you see it, he has not really become that player, and that has definitely taken a toll on their money. Not to mention, you have Aaron Gordon, you have Jokic, you have Murray. You're paying all these guys. It's really hard now to really construct a team in this new CBA, especially a team that is going to have a lot of depth on it. But when you do something like how Jalen Brunson did, I mean, let's give him credit. I'll give him credit. LeBron even was willing, as I said earlier, to take a pay cut as well. But when Jalen Brunson taking a pay cut over $100 million to help this New York Knicks team be in a position to better their roster, you can only give him nothing but praise, because you want to be able to keep the depth and core players still intact on this team. But while that all sounds really good on paper, especially for the Knicks and all of this, this can also create a possible another scenario. Or what if guys, decide to, hey, put their own pride or whatever you want to say to the side and decide to take a pay cut in the way that Jalen Brunson did to win NBA championships and to possibly create another super team. Because if we've already seen it now throughout NBA history, and this new CBA especially, big threes in NBA are essentially, they're dead. It's hard now to win an NBA championship with having three of the top players on your team. I mean, we've seen Kevin Durant and Phoenix do this, and even with Harden and Kyrie Irving. I mean, I know I'm talking about KD a lot, but it's just the truth. And even with the 76ers team with Embiid and George and Maxey, the reality is you're paying all these guys and the expense of actually having that depth and core players that you need, because the reality is the key to winning NBA championships now is having great, solid role players on your team, which is why a team like the Celtics are an example of why teams are trying to copy and hope that they can just do something in the way that they did, hop on that hype train essentially and trying to create a roster where it's overall balanced. Because when you look at the Celtics on paper, man, they got Drew Holiday, they got KP, you got Tatum, you got Brown, you got Derek White. All these guys are pretty much borderline all-star level players, but they know their role on their teams so perfectly. They are like the modern version of a super team in this new CBA. This is why now you see teams like the Pelicans going out and acquire DeJounte Murray, a guy who is a great offensive player who's going to help them a lot in clutch situations, especially since that was one of their main weaknesses last season. And you see as well with the Kings and acquired DeMar DeRozan. Now you have DeRozan, you have Sabonis, you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Malik Monk. Teams are trying to, in a way, copy what the Celtics are doing, and the team that fits this role probably the best out of any other team is the New York Knicks. And unfortunately, as I said, part of this new CBA, the Knicks did have to give up Isaiah Hartenstein because they weren't really going to have all the money in the world to retain him, and which is why he went to another really loaded team in the Oklahoma City Thunder in that way as well. So really, what I want to say as well in this video is that the idea of a super team possibly happening again is maybe likely. The league does not want to have another Golden State Warriors type of team or another, I don't know, just a team that's just really going to dominate for many, many years to come. This new league now with the NBA is so balanced. Like, many teams really have a chance. You look at the Washington Conference, it's like an entire battlefield because so many teams actually have a chance to possibly win an NBA championship. I don't even think the league either wants a team like a guy like LeBron to make it to 10 straight NBA finals in the way that he did. Back then teams, owners, they were willing to pay that big luxury tax bill and have a roster of players that they wanted, because this new CBA really benefits more so the smaller market teams, and it kind of puts even more restrictions as well on these bigger NBA franchises and the owners that are willing to, spend the big bucks to make their team great. Because you all know, when the Warriors had Kevin Durant on that team, that was the most expensive team. Even once Kevin Durant left the Warriors, they had one of the most expensive teams. Their owner was willing to spend money in doing that. But now you can do all of that. And as you see, part of this new CBA, Klay Thompson is another example of a guy who left and he went on to something different. So, look, man, all I'm really saying is that I hope that this just does not as well create a scenario, because what Brunson did was just extremely unselfish, something that a true leader does for their team, a guy who is a face of a franchise who's willing to sacrifice, a dude doing low-key what D-Wade used to do on the Miami Heat. And people don't talk about that too much either. But still, what I hope this just does not create, though, is just another scenario of teams and of guys joining up together, taking massive pay cuts in order to win at the highest level. Because part of the CBA as well is giving all these guys this money as well to not create another scenario like that. The crazy part, though, for Jalen Brunson is that he'll be eligible to make even more money once he's eligible for another extension on his contract. But this is all just, man, this is crazy and it's really interesting to see. But we shall see how everything plays out, man, because this, I'm saying now, as we all know, as NBA fans and people who watch the game, This CBA has really, truly changed everything, and it's going to change the way that we see the league now for a long time. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more basketball content each and every single week. Have a great day. Peace.